folks? Welcome in. Mount Polumbus Speaks here. And wow, today sucks, huh? What a season it was. It was a hell of a season, boys and girls. Lots to celebrate, but obviously a lot to be disappointed by in the game yesterday against the Patriots. AFC Championship game. They're one frickin' game away. Away. And I'll tell you this. The Broncos were dealt a tough set of cards, man. And I got a lot that I want to talk about tonight, but I'll just say this because I want to do an Ask Me Anything here tonight, and I want to make this super interactive with you guys, challenge me on my thoughts. I want to get your thoughts on the game, any questions you've got. Obviously, we're going to talk about the 4th and 1 quite a bit here tonight. We'll talk about the fumble from Jared Stidham and steady season. We're going to break it down all that. So what I really want to do tonight is make this thing interactive, have some fun with you guys. Send in your thoughts and your questions, whether you're watching on X or whether you're watching on YouTube. Wherever you are watching, you can send your comments in. They'll pop up live on stream, and I'll get interactive with you guys. I'm going to take a second to thank my title sponsor, Safeway, but before I do that, I just want to say that this week it was fun. And Jackson, good to see you there. Anybody that wants to get your questions in, go ahead and get them in now. I'm going to talk here for just a minute on a couple things, and then I'm going to come back to the questions. But thanks for joining me on YouTube there. I'll get back to you in just a second. This week was fun. It was a weird week. Like, obviously it's a weird letdown, but I'll say this in terms of just like ultimate like fandom weeks that I've had as a pure Broncos fan, not as a player, not as an analyst, not as a media member. I let myself go and do Broncos fandom this week, and it was cool, man. The Steady City thing that was going on Twitter. That was a vibe, man. That was fun. All of Broncos country changing the profiles to Jared Stidham. And unfortunately, Steady City turned into Sheddy Steady during the game. But, the week was a blast. The week of memes, that was fun. Honestly, I think this was the most fun I've ever had as a pure Broncos fan this week, taking a rough deck of cards that we're all dealt. And what's up there, Wes? I'll get to your question here in just a second. Thanks for sending it in. We took a rough deck of cards that we were dealt, and we had fun with it, man. So it was a major letdown, but I was at the game this week. I was at the game the week before. I feel so blessed to have gone. I was able to take my middle daughter, recreate some memories that we had from the AFC Championship game that I was playing in. Tim, good to see you. Malign, I don't know how to say that. Good to see you. Thanks for joining in. I'm going to get to all your questions, I promise. Just give me 1 second here. It was a blast. The game was cold. It was freezing. The weather was a real deal. The first half was beautiful. The second half was not. And by the time the second half got around, neither team could do anything. But before we dive into the Ask Me Anything questions, I'm going to take a quick second here to thank my title sponsor, Safeway. Couldn't do this podcast without Safeway. So grateful to them. They've been an incredible partner of mine throughout the years and on this podcast. There is a difference in where you shop, so check out your local grocery store today. They support local small businesses, so know that when you shop at Safeway, you are supporting local small businesses as well. They cut their fruit fresh in store every single day, and believe me, you can taste the difference. And they've got an incredible app that if you don't have on your phone, you're missing out on. So download the Safeway app today. Skip the other delivery service apps. Order directly from Safeway. You're going to save time. You're going to save money. Okay, we will get rolling. Again, I want to do an Ask Me Anything here tonight. I want to talk about the missed opportunities. I've got plenty of content to fill in between any questions if we've got them or if we don't have enough. But send them, roll it in. Last time I didn't Ask Me Anything, we got hundreds and hundreds of comments that rolled in, and it was an absolute blast. That's what I want to do with you guys. And I know Broncos country, you guys have got strong opinions on this thing. I know you guys are feeling a certain type of way about the 4th and 1 decision. So I think we'll probably just start out with that 4th and 1. But before I get to the 4th and 1, let me just get caught up on a few of these questions that have already rolled in. Jackson asked, does Miners get beat at an inordinate rate for a top tier player? No, Quinn Miners does not get beat at an inordinate rate. However, the entire offensive line struggled against the Patriots. The offensive line struggled against the Chargers. The offensive line did a great job on the season as a whole. Matter of fact, they were ranked. AJ, what's up? Thanks for joining me on YouTube. The offensive line was ranked number 1 by PFF this year, and they earned that ranking. They played really, really well. Quinn Miners is a really damn good football player, but the entire offensive line picked a bad game to have a bad game. The O-line had a bad game against the Patriots in the AFC Championship game, and unfortunately, that Patriots defensive line got after our guys both in the pass game and the run game. So I'm sure Quinn would like to have that game back. Wes asked, does Tyler Bidet have the mental fortitude to play running back for the Broncos? The play steady fumbled. I'm so confused on what Bidet was trying to accomplish. Okay, so Wes, that's a good question. And if anybody hasn't seen that play, you could go on my Twitter account right now and scroll through my tweets. I had a boatload of tweets, so you might have to scroll through them here. If anybody needs any visual help with what I'm talking about here, here's the deal on that particular play. Well, you know what? Matter of fact, I might be able to share my screen. I'm not going to try to figure it out because that'll take too long. But if anybody hasn't seen the play, so we're talking about the play that Jarrett Stidham was backing up and he had the fumble that cost us the game. On that particular play, there were some analysts, Chase Daniels in particular, that was going around saying that it looked like Tyler Bidet was in a halfback screen on that play. And if you looked at it at first, it sort of made sense. It looked like Tyler Bidet was trying to release out of that sucker on a halfback screen, and had the Broncos been able to dump it off to him, it would have been a gain of 30 or 40 yards. I watched it really, really closely, though, and that did not make sense to me because if it was a halfback screen, you would have seen the left guard have the kick out. You would have seen the center run the alley. You would have seen the right guard get the rat peel. And none of those offensive linemen got out of protection. They were all in protection the entire time. So all it was a two-jet protection that Tyler Bidet is going to scan from the front side A-gap back to the backside tackle and give chip presence for Garrett Bowles. It looked like Tyler Bidet was lost out there because Jarrett Stidham was the one that was lost. But Tyler Bidet was doing his job in two-jet protection. He scanned A-gap, and he went to go give chip presence to Garrett Bowles. After you give chip presence, you release late as the valve for the check down. And look, man, Jarrett Stidham in that moment panicked. And it's unfortunate because in that moment that Jarrett Stidham panicked, it cost us a football game. And we got to go back to the 4th and 1. And I guess I'll do that right now before I get to any of these other questions that are rolling in. Again, we're doing an Ask Me Anything here tonight. If you're just popping on with us, send your questions in on X or on YouTube. They'll pop up live on screen, and I'll try to get to all of them. But the combination of what happened on that 4th and 1 and then what happened shortly after on the next drive for the Broncos when Jarrett Stidham had that fumble, man, that was a 10-point swing. And I know I'm probably in the minority on this, and I get it, and that's cool. I'm not telling you anybody is wrong. For whatever your opinion is on that 4th and 1, I think everybody's opinion has got a valid case. If you're of the opinion that the Broncos should have played it safe and taken the points, okay, it's hard to argue against it. If you're of the opinion, which I happen to be in, that when you get a 4th and 1 and you're already up by 7 points and you got a chance to go up by 14 and you get to put your foot on their throat and it's 1 freaking yard and all you got to do is score 1 more touchdown and you probably are going to win the game right then and there, I think it's human nature to want to keep your foot on the gas pedal. And it's human nature to go for the kill shot right then and there. It's 1 freaking yard. My beef was not them going for it on 4th down. My beef was the play selection they had. Tony, thanks for joining me on X. I'll get to all your questions here in just a minute. My beef was the play call that they had was an elementary short yardage play that every team in the NFL utilizes. It works. It's not a bad play by design, but it's something that you put in week 1 of training camp, and it's a foundational building block play that we have run over and over, and the Patriots identified our tendencies, and they called the perfect defense to stop that play. So we're talking about the 4th and 1 where we ran the fake 19 keep right halfback slide out of the backfield. And that play is designed for man-to-man coverage. And if you looked at little Jordan Humphrey over to the right side on that play, little Jordan Humphrey tries to pick the defensive back, which would have been great if we were in man-to-man coverage because the play is designed to go to R.J. Harvey out of the backfield just to gain 1 or 2 yards. Little Jordan Humphrey goes for the pick. Problem was, pick doesn't work because they're in zone coverage. We wanted man-to-man. They come out in zone. Play almost feels busted from the get-go. Well, there is a zone option, and it would be to throw the ball back to little Jordan Humphrey. But the problem was not only did the Patriots come out in zone coverage, they also came out in a 6-man defensive line look. And on that 6-man look, they took the 4-eye that was on the inside shoulder of Mike McGlinchey, and they looped him out towards the rollout where Jarrett Stidham was going. There was nothing the offensive line could do about it. At that point, as an offensive lineman, you're taught to let that man go, and it's going to be on the quarterback to beat him out. Well, they called the perfect loop to the play side that we're rolling out. They called zone defense, not man-to-man coverage, and the whole play was busted from the get-go. And it's the play call itself that I have beef with. Look, it's 4th and 1, freaking QB sneak it. I mean, seriously, if you don't trust Jarrett Stidham to do it, bring in Adam Troutman, do a tight end push tush, do something along those lines. But the play call itself is what I had beef with, not the fact that they went for it. Because listen, I'm just being honest, and I'm not saying I would have made the right decision. I may very well have made the same decision that Sean Payton made, and it still could have been the incorrect decision. I'm just telling you, if I'm being dead honest about this, I understand the mindset that we've come to the AFC Championship game to be aggressive and win. Like, we didn't come here to be passive and settle for 3 points. It's 1 freaking yard. Everything has been going our way. We scored easy just on the previous possession. We've got a chance to go up by 14 points. Let's go for the kill shot, man, and let's get this game over with. So I know everybody out there, with the benefit of hindsight 2020, they're like, the weather was changing. Tony, what's up? They're like, the weather was going to change at half. You should have taken the points. I get it. It's a fair argument. Nobody is wrong in this particular circumstance. I mean, well, at the end of the day, Sean Payton was wrong because not only did he go for it, but he had a play call that was busted before it ever had a chance. So Sean was wrong, but me personally, Gabe, what's up? Me personally, I'm not going to crush Sean Payton for going for it on 4th and 1 because if I'm going down, man, I want to go down swinging. That's just my mentality. If I was a head coach, I know I would coach in a very similar fashion. Obviously, he's getting crushed. People are calling it the worst decision of the playoffs, and he's going to have to live with that. Sean Payton's going to have to live with that the rest of the offseason, and he's going to lose a lot of sleep over it, believe me. But then you combine that, you could feel the energy in the building just go out. The GQ, what's happening? You could feel the energy in the building. It was so loud and fun and contagious. You go for it on 4th and 1. We got problems. Then we get backed up. Then Jarrett Stidham's got the fumble. Then the Patriots get the ball back. Then Drake May runs it in for a touchdown on the 7-yard scramble or whatever it was. And the energy in the building just got sucked out like a vacuum. So all those things combined, at that point, I thought Jarrett Stidham never recovered. He obviously started the game out hot, but from that point on, Jarrett Stidham was rattled. And Stiddy City was a fun meme throughout the week, and unfortunately, it didn't unfold the way that we all wanted it to. So that's my take on the 4th and 1. I would love to know your guys' take on it. Send it in wherever you're watching on X or whether you're watching on YouTube. I'd love to hear your takes on that 4th and 1, whether you think Sean was an idiot, whether you liked it, just didn't like the play call. Obviously, I'm just one man, and my opinion's just my opinion, but I'd be curious to get all of your guys as well. Okay, I'm going to start the Ask Me Anything part of this podcast now. Again, it's an AMA. Send in your texts, your comments, wherever you're watching on X or on YouTube. They'll pop up live on screen, and we'll get rolling here. Okay, Tim Ferguson just says it was a really great year. It was. Man, nobody expected this team to get to this point. Nobody. If you said that you expected the Jeff Jackson, what's up, guys? They're rolling in now. If you said that you expected this team to get to the AFC Championship game before the season began, I tell you were delusional, you were a liar. It was absolutely a great year. It's just a bummer that we lost our freaking quarterback going in the AFC Championship game. Mile 9. Cortland's drops killed me to watch. Is that because a new quarterback throws differently? Yes, sort of. Like, yes, the drops killed me. Yes, Cortland Sutton needs to catch the football. And yes, the timing was just a little bit off. If you watch those routes, especially that first dig route that Cortland Sutton ran, Jared Stidham threw a perfect ball. It hit Cortland Sutton right in the chest, but that ball hit Cortland Sutton in the chest before Cortland got out of his break. Cortland hadn't even gotten his eyes to the backfield before that ball hit him on the chest. So Jared Stidham delivered a strike, but the timing of it just wasn't there. He needed to wait just a tick longer, and it would have been a perfect throw. But yeah, Cortland's a leader on this team, and we needed him to catch the ball. We needed little Jordan Humphrey to catch the ball later in the game. I know it's bad weather, but it's an AFC Championship game. You get paid a lot of money to catch the ball. Okay, Wes says Steady City was super fun this week, and Masshole fans think that we're making him out to be the next Elway Manning. Morons, it's called supporting your backup quarterback and having some fun. That's all it was, Wes. And I wasn't delusional about it. I don't think Broncos country was delusional about it. Steady City was a blast on Twitter this week. The memes were hilarious. And I don't think any Broncos fan really thought Jared Stidham was going to be the second coming. But I do believe that we convinced ourselves, maybe naively, that we had a better chance in this game than what probably was going to unfold. AJ, man, comments are rolling in, guys. I appreciate it. They're rolling in fast and furious right now. It's going to take me a minute to get to all these. I'll do my best, but stick with me here, and I'll try to answer all of your questions. How big do you think you'll be next year with Bo's third year in Sean's system? Also, I can't wait to see what he can do with a star wide receiver and a dynamic tight end. Yeah. Look, in the offseason, our biggest needs offensively was a dynamic wide receiver and a dynamic tight end. We tried to address that with Evan Ingram. It didn't work out at the tight end position. So now we're going into the offseason with the same needs. We've got a running back hole. We've got a tight end hole. We've got a wide receiver hole. I've got no doubt that Bo Nix is going to continue to get better and better, but this team desperately is in need of some playmakers. Wes says Sutton and Lil Jordan Humphrey got to go. We need a real number one wide receiver. I don't know if they got to go, but I agree. We do need a better playmaking wide receiver. Cortland Sutton's been a great football player for this team, and he's going to end up in the Ring of Fame. Cortland Sutton gets knocked on all the time. Fernando says, do you have trust in Lutz? Yeah, I do. Look, man, I don't know if you noticed, Will Lutz was not the only kicker that struggled in that game. Patriots kicker couldn't kick either. Good luck kicking in those conditions. Will Lutz has been a good kicker for the Broncos. It sucks. I know he's killing himself after the game, and he's going to be losing sleep as well. But I do have faith in Will Lutz as a kicker. Gabriel says, what did the Broncos do about all the drop passes this year? Many have killed crucial drives. Sean Payton talked about it in his post-game presser, which was a little bit unusual. But Sean full on admitted the drops have been a problem this year. So it doesn't take a genius to read the tea leaves on this one. In the offseason, the Denver Broncos are going to be adding to the wide receiver room. I would imagine Marvin Mims sticks around. Cortland Sutton will stick around. Troy Franklin will stick around. All of them will be on this team next year. But I would hope and I would pray that we would find another player that's capable of being a number one and beating out Cortland Sutton, because the drops did kill us. Tony says, I don't think we ever get back. Being honest, this sucks. Oh, I think he's saying we don't get back to the AFC Championship game. Being honest, this sucks. Like the Patriots got the red carpet handed out for them all season. Why can't we have a season where literally everything goes right for them? Well, I could make an argument that actually for the majority of the season, everything did go right for the Broncos. They won a bunch of games that they had no business winning. Everything went right until the AFC Championship game when we lost our quarterback. That's football, man. It sucks. I don't know what to say about it. It sucks. I do think if Bo Nix plays in that game, I think the Broncos win. And the main reason is because I don't think Bo Nix has got that fumble that Jared Stidham has. Bo Nix either does one of three things in that situation. Number one, he outruns it with his feet. Number two, he dirts that football, throws it in the ground. Or number three, he just takes a sack. But I don't think Bo Nix has that fumble. And the sad reality is the only touchdown that the Patriots scored, we freaking gifted it to them. We handed them 7 points, and it's the only damn touchdown they scored the entire game. So, yeah, I think if Bo Nix plays, we win the game. Chad Harris, what's up, brother? Why don't they utilize the tush push? You know, we QB sneaked it quite a bit this year, and on that 4th and 1, that's what I would have done. I would have just QB snuck that sucker. A lot of quarterbacks or a lot of coaches don't trust backup quarterbacks to QB sneak it. I know it seems like a simple elementary play, and it is, but a lot of fumbles happen on that play with quarterbacks that aren't accustomed to doing the QB sneak and getting hit in piles. So I'm guessing that Sean Payton was just like, you know what? We're in the AFC Championship game. I haven't put Stidham in this situation all year, so he decided against it. But if that was the case, if he didn't trust Stidham, bring Adam Troutman in there, run a tight end, let the tight end do the QB sneak and do a tush push with them. All right, Tony has got another one in, but I'm going to skip to somebody else, so I try to get everybody some airtime here. Gabe Rocks says, I was screaming, take the points. The momentum was palpable. At least I thought so. Yeah, look, the far majority of people said take the points. And I was in the stadium, and I said out loud, man, this is a tough call. Tough call. Taking the points feels like the responsible thing to do, but if you go for it, you got a chance to end this game right here and now. Obviously, hindsight 2020, if you knew the play wasn't going to work, you'd take the damn points. I think if you get Sean Payton in a real honest moment in a couple months, he'd tell you his regret was not going for it. His regret would be the play call. GQ, shout out from New Jersey. Appreciate you listening in from New Jersey, my friend. Luke Burton, glad you like the steady hat. Oh, did you give me this, Luke? That's my company in Windsor that made those. I have more blanks. Gosh. Hey, could you grab that hat out of my car, Erica? Could you grab that steady hat out of my car? Thank you. I'm going to try to show you this hat. So this hat that I was wearing, it was in my profile. I was signing autographs before the game, and I saw this group of guys wearing this Steady hat, and I was having so much fun with Steady City throughout the week. And I saw this group of guys wearing this Steady hat, and I'm just like, dude, where did you guys get that hat, and how did you get it made so fast? I'm going to show you this hat because it's freaking high quality. But this dude that I was signing autographs for is just like, here, you can have mine. I'm like, no, I'm not going to take it. I'm not going to take your hat. He's like, seriously, I'd love to give you my hat. Just take it. I'm like, all right, so I'll take the hat. Thank you. All right, here's my Steady hat. I'm switching out hats. This is my Steady hat that I was signing autographs. Look at how high quality this thing is. So Luke says this is his company in Windsor that made those. Luke, send in your company name. I'll give you a shout out. Matter of fact, I'd love to partner up with you, Luke, do some stuff for the podcast. If you could send me a DM on X, send me a DM, Luke Burton on X. I'd love to connect with you. Maybe we could do some stuff with the podcast even. But anyways, this dude ends up giving me this hat. The hat was killer. It's high quality. It looks like a Titleist hat or something. And dude just gives me off his head, and I wear it the rest of the day. It was freaking phenomenal. Had so much fun. I got so many comments about this hat at the game. Hey, Polumbus, where'd you get that hat? I didn't get the hat. Some dude just gave it to me. Tony, if our quarterback could throw the ball away, we'd be in the Super Bowl. That's probably true. If we take a sack or we throw that football away, Denver Broncos might be playing in a Super Bowl. GQ, I was just watching the screen to court Steady through so hard. He could have scored if it was executed right. Yeah, that one was painful. Was that Cortland that dropped that? In my mind, I had that as Mims. Was that Cortland? I'll have to go back and watch it, but I know the play you're talking about, and it was freaking there. It was there. Jackson, what's your offseason priority number one? It's time to address the offense. We selected Jahdae Barron with the first-round pick. Jahdae Barron played 5 snaps in that game. Your first-round pick played 5 snaps in an AFC Championship game because we neglected our offensive needs. So priority number one, playmakers. Whether that's wide receiver, running back, or a tight end, priority number one is a playmaker. Jeff Woods, hey Tyler, thanks for the show. I had a real strong feeling live, like a lot of fans, to take the 3 points there. Sometimes gambling, you lose your rent money. That's why I'm not allowed to gamble anymore, Jeff. You're exactly right. I do have that aggressive tendency, and it might have bit me in the ass the same way that it bit Sean Payton in the ass. I totally get it. Various Sundry says even if they converted on that 4th down play, there's still no guarantee you score a touchdown, and you have to take the field goal anyway. That's true. That's true. Gabe Rocks, that's why I wanted to kick the field goal, keep the momentum. Lots of people saying they just wanted to keep the momentum rolling. It makes sense. I can't argue with you too much. I'm just telling you what my gut would have said. It doesn't mean that my gut was the right thing. I can empathize with the decision that Sean Payton made because I think it's human nature to want to keep your foot on the gas pedal. Tony, I'm just worried we wasted our best shot. That's a fair concern. That is a fair concern. Everybody assumes that football is going to be played in this linear trajectory where in year 1, the Broncos missed the playoffs. Year 1 without Bo Nix, the Broncos missed the playoffs. Year 2, but Bo Nix's year 1, we made the playoffs. We lost in the first round. Year 3, year 2 of Bo Nix, the Denver Broncos make an AFC Championship game. So naturally, we're thinking we've got this linear trajectory that's headed straight towards the Super Bowl. There ain't no guarantee of that. This year was magical. We got a number 1 seed. And although I've got high hopes for Bo Nix and I've got high hopes for this Denver Broncos team, there is no guarantee Bo Nix will ever sniff a Super Bowl. Look at Josh Allen. Look at Lamar Jackson. Look at Joe Burrow. Look at these guys that Drake May is going to win a Super Bowl before any of those dudes. Well, Drake May might. Actually, in reality, Drake May is probably going to get his brains beat in by the Seahawks because that's what I think is going to happen. Various sends something else. I'm going to keep skipping forward here until I get some other names involved. Let's see. He most likely makes that kick if they lined up correctly. You know what? So that one's in regards to the kick at the end of the game where Will Lutz said that he thought that they were lined up too close. They usually line up at 7.5 yards because there was snow on the ground. He thought they might have lined up a yard too short, which led to the blocked field goal. Will retracted that statement. He said after watching the film, they were actually lined up correctly. So take that for whatever it's worth. Harrison joining us on X. What was the biggest issue with the run game? Talent without Dobbins, commitment to it, or blocking scheme? Yes. How'd I do answering that one? Yes. Losing J.K. Dobbins crushed us. We actually had a pretty damn good running game when J.K. Dobbins was healthy. Matter of fact, we had a top 5 rushing attack in the NFL when J.K. Dobbins was healthy. Then when J.K. Dobbins goes down, we're relying on a rookie who probably got overdrafted. Sean Payton didn't trust the guys that were left. He didn't trust the guys that he had invested in, and he didn't want to commit to running the football. Schematically, I think we were trying to run a lot of wide zone, and we got some offensive linemen that are built to go north and south. So, yeah, the running game needs to get fixed. It's got to get fixed in the offseason. That's got to be the biggest priority of what things need to get fixed offensively. We need to have a reliable running game, and we cannot go another season throwing the ball 40 times per game. Tony, knowing what Sean likes, I wouldn't be surprised with Shaheed Pitts pairing. Okay, cool. Let's see what else we got here. Got a lot of the same names rolling in, which I appreciate, and I will get to all your questions here. I'll go back if I need to. Just trying to get caught up with some folks that I haven't answered their questions. Trace E4N joining us on YouTube. Trace says, Sean has a history of great running back rooms. What should ours look like going forward? That's a tough question, man. What should the Broncos do with the running back room going forward? J.K. Dobbins is a good running back. He's a really good running back. J.K. Dobbins has always been a good running back. J.K. Dobbins just can't stay healthy. That's been his storyline every single year, and I'm not knocking the dude. I'm not trying to say that like I'm trashing him. It's just the reality. J.K. Dobbins is good at football, and J.K. Dobbins can't stay healthy. I want J.K. back because J.K. is really good. I don't want to pay J.K. Dobbins anything significant. So if JK commands a significant salary, buy. Like, love you. You're awesome. I respect the hell out of your game, but I'm just too scared of his injury history to give J.K. Dobbins a significant contract. So I would like to try to bring J.K. Dobbins back on the cheap, and you got to draft another young player this year. But R.J. Harvey is likely going to be getting the workhorse next season, and then you got to draft somebody else. Someone says, for me, it's the running backs need balance. That's true. We've got to be more balanced offensively. Thomas Leonard joining us on X. Thomas, thanks for joining us. If we could add a baller playmaker, wide receiver, I bet Mims and Sutton would have really good seasons. Any idea who they would go after, or would it be a draft pick? No idea. I haven't even thought about free agency. I haven't looked at the draft yet, so I don't have names. That will come, trust me. The off season's right around the corner, and I'll start looking at the free agents, and I'll start looking at all the draft picks. So I don't have names for you. All I can tell you is it's priority number one on this football team, offensively, defensively. Priority number one is adding a dynamic playmaker. Michael Ritter joining us on YouTube. Why don't we run the tush push like the Eagles? Is there an injury concern? Just think it would make the 4th and shorts much easier. People pushing from behind. I don't know why every team in the NFL doesn't run the tush push. I agree with you. We've tried it at times. We haven't been particularly successful. As successful as the Eagles are, it's amazing watching other teams try to replicate it. Other teams just do not have the same success that the Eagles have with it. But I agree with you. As long as the tush push is legal, and that probably won't be legal much longer, I would certainly emphasize it. Jackson1424 on YouTube. What's the next step for Bo? What does he need to work on, add to his game? It's a great question. I like the evolution of Bo. I'm not going to get overemphasized on mechanics. I mean, I could talk to you about his footwork. I could talk to you about arm angles, silly things like that are going to bore us all to death. The next evolution for Bo Nix is becoming a 4-quarter player. Unfortunately, this season, Bo Nix was a 4th quarter player, not a 4-quarter player. And we need Bo Nix to play 1st quarter, 2nd quarter, 3rd quarter the same way that he plays in the 4th quarter. If Bo Nix could be a 4-quarter player, Bo Nix would be a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. That's what's next. What's next for Bo Nix in the evolution is being a start to finish quarterback and not just a 4th quarter comeback king. Lots more comments here from Tony. Appreciate all of them that are rolling in. Somebody asked if I'd trade for Pickens. Maybe, I don't know. I haven't even thought about it. There's probably going to be some free agents that are available. Obviously, Pickens is a great football player. I'll start getting into the details on trades and stuff like that. Give me a week or two to digest the information that is all unfolded. But for now, just know that, yes, however you're going to add to that playmaker room, that's how we need to add to the playmaker room. GQ says Nick Bonito was MIA. Maybe. I don't know. I haven't actually gone back and watched the film yet. I do all 22 coaches breakdowns, and I'll put out that film probably tomorrow. I'll put out the offensive film tomorrow. I usually don't actually do the defense, but maybe I will for this game since it's the last game of the season. Maybe I'll do an offensive all 22 coaches breakdown, coaches film breakdown, and I'll do a defensive one. We're heading into the offseason anyways. I'm going to have to find some new content for you guys. But podcast rolls on, by the way. This podcast is year-round, and I'll be putting out 2 to 3 episodes per week in the offseason, just like I have in the regular season. And, you know, football is a year-round deal. There's always breaking news. There's always things to talk about. So if you're new to Mount Polumbus Speaks, make sure you hit that link in my bio on X, go on over to YouTube and hit subscribe, because that's where my content lives. You're going to want to make sure you're subscribed to YouTube, because I don't always live stream on X. And oftentimes I'll just put out videos that I upload onto YouTube. And if you really want to help me, if you appreciate what I do, know that I'm trying to grow my YouTube channel right now. And if you could give a like and a comment on the videos, it does wonders for the algorithm and it helps my channel grow, helps me stay motivated to feel like you guys like my content, to see my channel growing like that. Okay. Do you feel like if the second half was like the first half weather-wise, do you think that the game is flipped results-wise? Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, the lazy answer is yes. The lazy answer is the Broncos were rolling offensively when the weather wasn't bad. But the reason why I'm going to call that the lazy answer is that Drake May had an MVP season. And Drake May couldn't do jack squat in that game other than run. And he did kill us with his feet. I'm not discounting that. But Drake May couldn't do anything in that game. If the weather is different in the second half, Drake May might come to life. So, I mean, I can't promise you that the game is different. You know, there's been a lot of conversation today about whether football should be played indoors or outdoors. I will always stand by football is meant to be played outdoors, but I also fully acknowledge that within 10 years, there might not be an outdoor stadium left in the NFL. Every new stadium that's going to get built is going to be indoors outside of Buffalo because they're a bunch of idiots. But if that game was played indoors, yeah, there's a fair argument to be had that the Denver Broncos might be going to the Super Bowl. Somebody says they'd pay JK $2.5-3 million. Yeah, that's about the range I'd pay him. Anything much more than that, and you're probably getting out of my comfort zone. Do we need a power back? Harvey's a good pass catching back. Yeah, RJ Harvey was great out of the backfield in the passing game, but he left plenty to be desired as a running back. But RJ wasn't as bad as people made him out to be either. I think I forget what the stat line was, but the stat line was something like 900 yards and 12 touchdowns. Like, it definitely was not bad. Maybe not as good as you wanted it to be, but it was not bad at all. Man, that's crazy. I just got a text from a coach I haven't heard from in 12 years. My rookie year. That's wild. Anyways, back to this. Nick Benito with zeros across the board. All right, cool. That sucks. Nick Benito was a stud this year. I don't know what to say. I mean, if you're trying to call out Nick Benito, I guess we could call out Nick Benito for having a bad game. Nick Benito is a flat-out stud this year. CHQQAR, welcome to the show on YouTube. Appreciate you joining us. Do you feel like – oh, I already answered that question. I'm sorry. With how important Jaquan McMillan is, will Jahdae Barron eventually get moved to safety to salvage the first-round value? I don't know what's going to happen with Jahdae Barron. So Jaquan McMillan is a restricted free agent. That means it's really easy to bring him back. All you have to do is tender him, and in all likelihood, you're going to get him back. You don't have to give him a huge deal. So basically, you got the whole secondary coming back next year. I don't know what's going to end up with Jahdae Barron, and that's not a knock on him because he's a pretty damn good football player. But the reality is Barron was a luxury selection from day one, and here we are in the AFC Championship game. He played 5 snaps. I personally would have preferred the Broncos took an offensive playmaker over Barron. There's no question. Jeff Woods, this game just showed us even more how great of a player we have with Bo. I sincerely think we get back to this stage of opportunity in the playoffs again. I hope so. And yeah, it should, for all of us, be a reminder to not take Bo Nix for granted at all. 0 to 50, Broncos would have gotten demolished. Yeah. Ooh. I don't know if we're ready for that conversation yet, 0. So, I mean, what he writes is Broncos would have got demolished in the Super Bowl against the Seahawks had they won. Yeah, that's a whole different conversation, right? It's one thing to say we're 1 or 2 bad plays away from making the Super Bowl. It's an entirely different conversation to have. Could Jarrett Stidham have actually had a fighting chance against the Seattle Seahawks? The answer is probably hell no. That team is wicked good. That team is stupid good. Seahawks probably would have beat our brains in, but here's the good news. Seahawks are going to beat the Patriots brains in, and we can all live to enjoy that moment. Because gosh dang it, do I still hate the Patriots. I didn't even know I still hated the Patriots the way that I do until that game. And that game just reminded me how much I still hate the New England Patriots. They're freaking back in the Super Bowl again. Luke Williams, can you just yell, Sean, run the damn ball? Well, he writes it on his own play sheet. He just doesn't listen to himself. Nick, how rare is it for players to come back after free agency? I think if the team wanted players, they would have signed them now. Most free agents will get more elsewhere. Yes and no. I mean, guys like Jonathan Franklin-Myers, I would expect Jonathan Franklin-Myers to be gone. If we wanted Jonathan Franklin-Myers back, we probably would have paid him by now. So JFM's been a great football player for the Broncos. I wish we had space. I wish we had money for him. But I think the Broncos have made it clear by now they're willing to let him walk in free agency. So that is a true statement. But not all players are prepared to be paid ahead of time. Meaning some players, you need to see it in their contract year, and then you get those guys back. Buddy says, "Go Pats." Buddy, scram. You're on the wrong podcast. See you later. When Davis Webb becomes the new coach of the Bills. Oh, that's interesting. Davis Webb did have a second interview with the Bills today. Davis Webb also had an interview with the Raiders today. Davis Webb's only in his second year as a coach in the NFL, and he's already one of the hottest candidates to become a head coach. I think it's crazy early for Davis Webb to become a head coach, but hey, I'm rooting for him if he becomes one, and that would be fun to watch Davis Webb coach Josh Allen. All right, listen. Hey, this is fun, and let's keep this going. These AMAs, these Ask Me Anythings, these are new for me. I've never really done these Ask Me Anythings before, but they're fun. You guys are so great. You guys send in the questions faster than I can answer them. I love the interaction of it. So here's what I'm going to do, especially as we head into the off season. I'm going to do at least one Ask Me Anything per week, maybe even more than that. We'll see. As long as you guys are having fun with it, I'll keep doing it because I want to give you guys the content that you want to watch. And if you guys enjoy these Ask Me Anythings, I'll keep them coming. I am going to wrap this up for tonight, but I'll be back with you guys tomorrow doing the All 22 Coaches Film Breakdown. So make sure you are tuned in for the game film that I'll put out tomorrow. I know we've got nothing else to prepare for, but it's always good to go back and watch and see the couldas, wouldas, shouldas. Again, if you're new to Mount Polumbus Speaks, hit that link in my bio on X, go on over to YouTube and hit subscribe. Appreciate all you guys being a part